Hello there. Many people will be wondering when this cost of living crisis will end. Well, I'll pose a question that might help you decide about that. The cost of living is biting us hard, and inflation shows no sign of dropping back. On top of that, the domestic energy price cap looks like it will be soaking up at least 2 months of the average annual post-tax salary by the middle of next year. So many people will be wondering when the ever-rising price of energy, petrol and diesel, the main drivers of inflation, will get back to normal levels. Well, to help you answer that, I have a question for you to ponder on. And that is, right now the River Rhine has just about dried up, and there have been huge fires across France that took fire appliances from 5 or 6 other countries to help subdue. In the UK, we're having severe droughts and supposedly record-breaking heat waves this summer. And the eco crowd is pointing firmly at our use of energy as the cause. So in the light of this, what do you think our politicians, their eco-advisors and the signed up to net zero civil service are all saying? Well, it won't be anything realistic about more gas and oil production, will it? Let alone mining for coal. No, they are much more likely to be discussing how we can get UK carbon emissions even lower and more quickly, despite the rest of the world digging and drilling for fossil fuels and burning coal, oil, gas, petrol and diesel with abandon. Do you really think the UK establishment is engaged in trying to make energy consumption cheaper and more plentiful for us? No, right now they're on a roll. The higher they can get prices now, then when they do step in and help the consumer out, then prices will appear to drop back a bit, but energy prices will remain hideously high on a permanent basis to save the planet. The only consideration for the government is how much the state steps in to help individuals, with the main criteria being what is the absolute minimum required to keep the lid on civil unrest. Not what is required to keep you comfortable. Along the lines of what the nudge and psychological units did during the pandemic. And one of their guides will be the public reaction to rising petrol and diesel prices. As you can see from this graph of government data, prices have dropped back a bit from previous highs, and the whole topic has dropped off the radar while we foam and fume about domestic energy prices. But petrol and diesel prices are still much higher than they were. We're arguably just adjusting our lifestyles to fit, selling our second cars, walking and cycling more, driving fewer miles. Just what the World Economic Forum types want. While the corporates grow fat on the extra revenue and the government rakes in the extra taxes. Now when it comes to domestic fuel for heating and cooking, the net zero zealous government will be carefully judging how they take the sting out of the high prices just enough to achieve that same result without sparking riots. So that the population meekly uses less energy by turning down the thermostat, wearing their woolies, use a bit of draft excluder and hire TOG-rated duvets. And with the sun shining so hot today, as I make this video, solar power is producing 25.4% of our energy and wind 1.9%. But gas is giving us 47.6% and nuclear 15.9%. But as the sun goes down later and the wind stays flat, anyway, all I'm asking you is what do you think our net zero obsessed establishment is plotting behind closed doors? A return to a secure supply of cheap energy on tap for the masses, or an economy destroying lurch further towards net zero by ensuring energy prices remain as high as possible while more underperforming solar panels and wind turbines are deployed, and we wait for a decade for a coherent nuclear power programme to be restarted in the UK, if ever.